Hey everybody, it's Bob Trade Genius. It's the 15th of March, and as I've been saying, is that we we definitely hit. Thursday we started getting indications that the market was getting overbought, and we're starting to see some divergences, and uh, and then the typical Monday they pushed it, and it basically put a 30-day or 20 trading day high in, and it started to roll over, and so we went short here on some puts. We closed those puts today, and then I actually it wasn't technically a roll because I went ahead and I did just a second trade, but we had profitable trade on the puts that we got, and then we rolled trade puts out again for next Friday because I don't think this move's done. There's one thing to keep an eye on here. One of two things are going to happen. So this is the breakout right here of the downtrend line, okay, and it's coming right back down to it. This is the big breakout, and so if it gets and closes below this, we're coming down to here, or at least to here, and and the reason being is that this is bigger news than just weaving here. The 10-year has broken 3%. The dollar is going through the roof, and people are starting to get a little scared. And now we're going into the basically the weak season for the markets, and so I don't think this move's done by any stretch of the imagination. So I'm looking for it to come down. I think it'll unwind this whole move here, and so I'm gonna try to take advantage of it. So sold the puts at 270. I mean, bought puts at 270 for next Friday. I sold the 266s for tomorrow to bring the trade price down a little bit earlier in the day, and I have no fear that those are going to get covered. And if they do, that'd be a great trade for me if this thing fell to 266 by tomorrow. And I'm just going to run diagonals on it as I need to really max out the profit on this. So I think this market's in trouble, and then you can see it here on the SPY. This red line yesterday was right here. This line moves dynamically, and that's always when I got a new high at resistance, it's a no-brainer trade. And this last bar here was the end of the day games. But if you go over to here, you're going to see that it's already falling back from the close, and so I'm looking for a move to here. This is my view, 266.70 area as of today. It'll probably be 267 by the time tomorrow, the next day comes around. But we're definitely in a sell mode at the moment, and doesn't look really. This could be kind of a funky head and shoulders pattern, but I think it's going to take this whole thing out and even come down and try to fill this gap right in here. So that's my play on SPY. And then what else I did was, we had settlement day in gold, and I think that was part of some of the games they had with this big gap down. And this is absolutely an opportunity, and so I would take a hard look at it. But what I did was instead was I bought dust puts, and so dust just jumped all the way to the top of my Bollinger Band here on VWAP, and it's at 5% over VWAP. And the nice thing about when you short the ultras, time's actually on your side unless this moves a trend move. And so I went ahead and I bought June puts, and then I will sell diagonal puts against it. And what a diagonal put is basically I'll do a different strike price on a different date than I have the buy put on. So I have every Friday or Saturday technically until June to go ahead and hedge this position as I go through to my expiration date to bring my price down. So we bought puts today, and those are really the trades we took today. So we took off a SPY put that was profitable. We bought dust puts, which pretty much where the price is now, and we bought SPY puts for next Friday, and with a diagonal on for tomorrow. And if I have at least four more chances to, actually five, to put a hedge trade on, and to drive the cost out of that trade if need be. So let me just flip around here and look at some other things. Oil has just been crazy. I think what they're doing here is I think they're living and hiding in oil right now, and it's at least started to relent, but it popped again. I'm still looking for oil to sell off. There's just too much of it out there, and the positioning is extreme in terms of the speculation on it. So something's going to give, and we'll get a move kind of like what we did here, again, and then it'll bring it down. And I'm looking for the mid 1350s for USO, and then just look at a few other things here. Is check out the XME here. It's formed a nice cup. Okay, handles forming right here, and so even though it's overbought at the moment, I would definitely take a hard look. If this thing breaks 37 and change, is that we probably have a 10% move in XME. Here's EEM. Emerging markets, are starting to struggle. They're starting to stress out now. I mean, Turkey's in trouble. They just majorly devalued their currency today, and that's going to put pressure on Europe, and it didn't really help their stock too much. And so you got to realize, Germany's biggest competitor in that part of the world is manufacturers in Turkey, and so he just devalued his currency, made his manufacturers more competitive, and but they're having a tough road to hoe over there right now. And so keep an eye on Turkey, that contagion. And then Italy is threatening, hey, we may just default on our debt if we can't come to some sort of conclusion that is helpful for the Italian people. So I think Europe it's gonna be a summer of discontent again in Europe, and I think it's gonna be a mess over there, and I just don't see the backdrop of summertime being all that great. And then here's TNX, the 10-year. Okay, we're at the highest levels in years on a 10-year, and it's just really pushing through. And one of the things today on Zero Hedge, I reported that consumer loans have simply collapsed. Even though they're reducing the lending standards, people just can't afford the rates. So they always talk about the banks. Oh, love the higher rates. Well, people aren't borrowing the money. A lot of good it does them. And then the auto market, the defaults on auto loans are, the subprime area is just absolutely going off the charts. If you want to buy a car or a truck, I say sometime next year you're going to be really, really happy person, because I think you're going to be able to get them on the aftermarket for nothing. They may have that cars for tots thing going, again, like they did with Obama, or just ship these things wholesale out of the country to try to create some sort of artificial demand, because it's starting to get ugly in auto land. And speaking of which, the bellwethers, look at Tesla here. Tesla's down 10% today. Okay, look, there's no such thing. Look, coming in a low, low, and a low. Probably going to break this at some point here pretty soon. And then Amazon, had a little gap down too, and it didn't fill it. And so I think you're starting to see strains in the consumer side. And you have higher interest rates and higher gasoline. If food ever starts taking off in a meaningful way, then it's just going to be simply a nightmare, especially a nightmare if you're emerging markets. So anyway, it's Bob Trade Genius. That's where we're going right now. We think gold and the miners are going to come back. Not worried about them at all. The Fed guy's talking hawkish right now, but he raised interest rate in June. The wheels may just come off the apple cart this summer, and then you're going to see gold, silver, and the miners just rock and roll. And then one of the things too is held up pretty well. It's just one of my my lottos is LAC, and it just took off. And we talked about that this weekend. And here's lithium. Came back a little bit too, but man, that was a beautiful trade on LAC. Probably the move's probably out of it now. I'll probably close it tomorrow. Had a nice trade on it, but yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting. So fun time to be a trader, and we're just going to look for opportunities to get long and where we think the hockey puck is going: metals, miners, and cryptos, and then look to for shorting opportunities on the broad markets. Anyway, thanks for listening. Hey, we're running our special yet. We got a cool one on cryptos. You need to take advantage of it. If you buy 1 year subscription to our cryptos, look for special number 1. We're going to throw in the Crypto Express. So, Phil and I created an algorithm some time back that looks for good buy and sell signals hourly, 4 hourly, daily, high profit factors, and good for swing trading. And then what we did was we just finished a couple weeks ago and pushed out May 1st day, basically called the Crypto Express. It allows you to get 35 coins, buy sell signals pushed directly to your right to your phone via email, or to your computer via email, and you'll be able to trade these things basically wherever you are, 24/7. So whether we're at the chat desk or not, it's running 24/7 and it's pushing trades out for you. And I highly recommend you take advantage of it. We're going to throw that Express in as part of the subscription. You will not see it on the special there. You just go ahead and sign up for it. We'll automatically give it to you. But you have to act before this weekend. We're going to sell it separately. It was the number 1 thing requested of us, and people are really taking advantage of it. And I think you will too. There's no emotions in it. There's no like, oh, should I or shouldn't I? Hey, you get a buy signal, you bought. You get a sell signal. Hey, maybe I move my stop up, maybe I take half off, maybe I sell. It just takes some of the guesswork out of the trade. The algorithm's looking at money flows, and so it's watching every other trader and see who's bidding and who's asking. And that for us, price and volume trumps everything else. And trades happen, then the news covers it. And so we want to be where the price and volume is before the news gets to it. We're in the trade before the news gets to late traders that jump in on it. By then, we're looking to take our profits. So anyway, I encourage you to TradeGeniusAcademy.com. I think you'll really, really like it. And we have a lot of really cool things coming up this summer, and enhancements to our chat room and our website, and just fun times for us, fun times for the market. Volatility and uncertainty equals profits for traders, and I think we're back in the sweet spot here. So thanks for listening. Have a great day. I'll talk to you. Bye-bye.